Good afternoon sa pamilya ng DOST, headed by Secretary. Well, first, I want to say just to reassure you, I'm not going to be as reassuring as Kong Rufus Rodriguez, but I am in support of the DOST because I'm a father to a daughter who's taking up bioengineering in the U.S. So all her life, she's been a fan of STEM. She grew up in that environment. It's amazing the amount of support that the government in the United States and also the community gives to STEM. In your assessment here, do you have programs to promote STEM in the academe and STEM careers?
Yes, Your Honor. Unfortunately, we start at the high school level. Now, because that's the only school that is run not under DepEd, and that is through DOST. Currently, we are assisting the Department of Education improve the learning performance of students in terms of STEM by integrating new technologies. For example, we are establishing 21st century learning environment model where we actually put in advanced machines, including robots and very nice projector where you can actually draw there to pique the interest of students. Because based on my observation, I've been under public schools except kinder in the Philippines up to college and of course in the US. The education is really to create a more or less inquisitive mind and not memorization. And so to do that, we need to have tools for people. So recently we were in Romblon. We have a partner from the University of the Philippines that developed Visor. It's called the Versatile Instrumentation System for Science Education and Research. It's like a laboratory in several boxes, but this big only. And you can do a lot of experiments, physics, biology, that would get the interest of students. Kulang po talaga yung mga laboratory natin. So in one form or another, we're trying to help DepEd here. In terms of the college level, the different councils under DOST have this institution development program. Nagsiset up po kami ng mga laboratories in schools that they wanted to focus on specific fields in STEM. So for example, sa perpetual health, Internet of Things, no? Yung kaninang binanggit sa Sultan Kudarat State University, Lab for Criminology or Forensics. So iba-iba po. But definitely, I would think that we need to really focus on the young ones before we reach the high school level. So we also train DepEd teachers on how to teach science, math, engineering. No, so but definitely we can also add artificial intelligence now in the mix. There is I know that DepEd has a partner to introduce artificial intelligence in both students and teachers, and results are promising, so we're also engaging them.
Mr. Secretary, I appreciate the response. Although it raises a concern, resource limitations. When you think of technology tends to be expensive, right? Ideally, you want to bring science closer to the students. In the absence of that, you have something that is mobile. Yeah, you mentioned earlier. Where are those robots deployed? Are they have they scaled nationwide, especially to provinces? Because this is just my perception, and correct me if I'm wrong. My perception that there's a urban bias. Like a lot of the programs I rolled out in urban centers, not so much in rural areas where intervention is more greatly needed. You know, so can you speak to that?
That's correct. We need to expose students in rural areas. I grew up in John Romblon. It's not an urban area. But because of the laboratories that we have, just even meager ones, so he got interested in science. We're now employing robotics, and there are many other partners po. But tama po kayo, we need to expand these efforts. And DOST alone cannot do it. That's why we're working with DepEd, because it's really their mandate to do that. But we have been working with different universities to use virtual reality or other gadgets that they can just see, so that it can be mobile and applied in other schools. Pero kailangan pang palaguin po yun.
Yung budget your ba, does it reflect your sort of like priority with respect to bringing down these programs to provinces? In other words, how much of our budget is dedicated to that?
On the education side, because that's not, we are trying to develop technology to be given to DepEd, but we're trying to showcase this through the 21st century learning environment model. So we're looking for partners with the LGU, and I would like to request SEI director to respond to it, because you have more experience on it. Kulang po talaga.
Pilot po natin sa first district ng Bataan, sa Almosa, Orani, Sabah, Bukay. Pwede naman po yun eh.
Ang naghahanap po kami ng magpa-partner na tataya din para matulungan din natin, para mas mabilis ma-implement. Dr. Cornelio?
Yes, no, Your Honor, thank you so much for bringing that up. We are really interested in setting up more 21st century classrooms, or CLEM, we call them, around the country. To date, we have already about 19 around the country, and we are intending to launch 3 more in the remaining months of the year. Pero, moving forward, we still want to create more of these 21st century classrooms. And for the record, yung 21st century classrooms ng SEI in partnership with DepEd have robotics, augmented reality, and all other facilities that would excite students, in the hope that through these classrooms, by using these classrooms, our students are not only interested in STEM, but they also develop what we call 21st century skills. So, partnership, Your Honor, we're interested in having conversations with you later on as to what this partnership might entail. For example, can you help us build a classroom or look for a classroom? Number 2, how about the funding? Now, with respect to, for example, procuring, say, the robotics, the materials, the equipment, and so forth. SEI can provide the necessary technical support to make this happen, and also the training. We have, just about 2 weeks ago, launched our 19th one in Antipolo, and it was so well received, not just by the local government, but also by our students there.
It will also be well received in the first district of Bataan.
Oh, lovely, sir.
I just want to say that, again, I go back when hearing this, the response that, I can, parang mga peso, it's going to be expensive, but there are frugal ways of actually pursuing this, but it all starts with a conversation with stakeholders and LGUs. You could, for example, repurpose existing spaces, the mobilized volunteers, leveraging open source tools to democratize access to knowledge and innovation. What is alarming really is we've been all to, we're from different provinces and cities. We know the situation in our communities is the absence of nudges that would actually, pique the interest of people, especially students. We don't have libraries. Which brings me to my next point. The DOST is one of the lead agencies implementing the Innovative Startup Act, am I right? And your role in the ISA is, how would you describe that, Mr. Secretary, R&D?
We provide startup grant fund, but there must be an R&D component.
Yes.
To polish the technology. So we've been pretty successful in terms of those that we have assisted. Really is very productive, and so far 95 startups last year. Now for the library that was mentioned, we don't have much physical libraries now. So DOST, since 2 administrations ago, developed this library in a box, or a computer console where you can actually do the research, the search there already. It has two versions, one with electricity or with internet, one is standalone. So pinapamigay po natin yan sa lahat ng school, and even local government units now are requesting that library, but ang nilalagay po natin ay mga policies, legislations for governance.
The ISA has been in effect for the last 5 years, and we've seen its imperfections. And here's an opportunity to basically assess your performance or your role in the ISA. How would you describe that in the last 5 years? And what are areas that need improvement, and how have you addressed that funding-wise?
There is no funding for ISA. So we rely on our own funding. So yan po talaga yung nangyayari. It's just attribution. So dahil wala pong funding, we decided that we will have our councils develop a way of providing a grant fund for that, which is essentially taken out of the original funding that we have for grants. But we are not complaining. We are just saying that wala naman separate talaga.
Is the grant fund, has it increased or decreased through the years? So is it remain constant?
Increasing naman po. Increasing, especially so that
But no funding.
ay walang funding last year.
No, so that's really sad.
Yeah. So,
You share the vision of like having a diverse industries and businesses, correct? And the only way to do that is through startups. Do you share my view that the startups has been abused? I mean, a lot of enterprising individuals fashion themselves as startups, but actually they're not.
so that's why we are aware of that. That's why mahigpit po kami sa pipiliin naming startup. Talagang sinusuyod po, meron po kaming committee to evaluate. So, yung ibang mga startups na na-fund ngayon, dati bagsak sa amin. So, pag na-improve na nila, saka pumapasa.
Yung isa pa mong pinag-uutos ng ISA, yung pagtatayo ng innovation hubs. Do we have one? Have we established innovation hubs?
We have different levels of innovation hub. We have set up innovation hubs in provincial science and technology offices of DOST. So far,
57.
we have 57 already out of the target 80. We have a different innovation hub between DOST and PCCI at the national headquarters. It's called DOST PCCI Technology and Business Innovation Hub. So we have different innovation hubs for different concerns like technology business incubation hubs, 95 po yun, 90 plus. And then meron po tayong textile innovation hubs, meron tayong metals and engineering innovation hub, meron po tayong advanced manufacturing and 3D printing innovation hubs.
So would you support the idea of having a multi-purpose learning center that houses both physical, digital, and the innovation hub that is contemplated by ISA?
Definitely. In fact, for example, in the Advanced Manufacturing Center in Taguig, this is the biggest 3D printing facility in the Philippines. It's both a combined hub physically, but since we instituted setting up satellite offices in all the DOST regions, pag hindi available yung printer sa region, papadala po digitally yung design, doon na ipiprint sa main center natin. So this is a training center where not only universities come, but also the industry would come. So yun po talaga ang ating mga innovation hub. It's a center where both the industry and the academe, and of course, researchers would go.
I guess the biggest challenge, Mr. Secretary, is making them accessible and within the view of people.
Correct.
So that they can,
Correct, Your Honor. That's why yung Advanced Manufacturing Center natin dati sa Bikutan lang. We decided to bring down the technology to different regions para at least makapunta sa regional offices namin. And then later on, with more money, we can set up in all the provinces in the innovation hubs that we have established para yung prototyping ng mga idea pwede nang gawin sa provincial innovation hub.
or nuclear terms para module